Good evening. The second round of the Emirates FA Cup starts this evening here at the Gateshead International Stadium. Now, this is a venue more associated with stars of track and field, but tonight it's all about the magic of the FA Cup as Gateshead of National League North beat Charlton Athletic of League One. Just 2 miles separate Gateshead from their illustrious neighbours at St James's Park. But Mike Williamson's side hope to join Newcastle in Monday's draw for the third round, a feat they've achieved just once since 1977. It's a 280-mile journey from the Valley to Gateshead for Charlton and their 400 fans. They arrive full of optimism. The appointment of Johnny Jackson as caretaker manager in October has improved results. They'll hope to continue that fine run against a team 61 places below them in the football pyramid. We've got 45 minutes till kick-off here at Gateshead, and with us pitchside a man born within a mile of this ground, Chris Waddle, and alongside him Graham Stewart, who played 164 times for Charlton, and both gentlemen know what it takes to get to Wembley. Chris, a runner-up with Tottenham in 1987 and with Sheffield Wednesday in 93 in the Cup, and Graham a winner with Everton in 1995, and he came so close to scoring on that memorable day at Wembley, and every time you watch it you're getting ever closer, Graham.
Yeah, I'm sure it goes over the line. I want VAR back on that one, please.
We need a Russian linesman, don't we?
Yeah, the Russian linesman would be good. VAR, Russian linesman, anything will do. Just put it over the line.
I've got a deal for you, though. You hit the bar, Paul Rideout puts it in and you win the cup, or you score and you lose.
I'm an unselfish man, Mark.
Of course you are. Yeah.
The most important thing was to win on the day. Oh, it's a magical day, and that's what we talk about, the magic of the Cup. For us to go there and beat Manchester United was just the icing on the cake for us.
Absolutely. Amazing to think it was the last time Everton won a major trophy,
I know,
which
scary.
is absolutely astonishing. Chris has played in 2 cup finals, in 3 cup finals, really, of course, because you had a replay. Now, this is your manor. This is where you grew up, Chris. How many times did you play on this pitch, which didn't look like this then?
No, it used to be rock hard and gale force wind when we played on it, so it is equivalent to Wembley now. It's magnificent, the pitch. There's no excuse tonight about bobbles or bad passes. Yeah, I used to grow up about a mile from here, so yeah.
So what sort of matches were you playing here then?
School cup finals, anything like that, county area, Gateshead boys. So we played here quite a bit.
So we're talking about boys football in this area. We are talking about Wallsend. We're talking about the famous clubs which have produced Alan Shearer, who's here tonight, Peter Beardsley, Michael Carrick, who's just left Manchester United, yourself. This is an area that Newcastle United, with new owners, have to tap into really properly now, isn't
unbelievable. Yeah, listen, they've got to throw a net out. I was just talking to Graham before, and Middlesbrough seem to get a lot of the kids from up this region, and other teams seem to get all the players. You know, there is talent. There's a lot of talent in the northeast, and Newcastle now, with the way they're talking, they've now really got to get a hold of this area and get the players coming through, because there is so many talented footballers.
It is ridiculous when you look at teams across the land, Graham, isn't it? You think how many come from the northeast. You think, why are they not playing for teams in the northeast?
Yeah, it's very true. It's incredible, isn't it, the amount of top players that Newcastle have had, the area of Newcastle has had, and they disappear down south, for argument's sake. It's an incredible thing, and Chris is absolutely right. They've got to start throwing the net and building the academy and making sure that these young players stay in the area.
9 players in this Gateshead squad either have played for Newcastle or have been in the academy. I suppose Gateshead is the one that does prosper from that little trickle-down effect, isn't it?
Yeah, they'll get from Sunderland as well, Middlesbrough to an extent. You know, it's not that far. So, yeah, I mean, what they've done well here is they've stayed full-time. They've been full-time quite well, and they've got 2 academy teams. So anybody who they think's got a chance, they're quite happy to bring in from Newcastle or Sunderland and wherever, Middlesbrough, and give them a chance here.
As you said, full-time in National League North, which is worth bearing in mind. Right, Charlton, Newcastle got new owners. Charlton have been through the ringer with their owners. Are they in slightly calmer waters just at the moment, Charlton?
I think they are. There's definitely a positivity about the football club now after a good few years of turmoil. Let's make no mistake about it. They've had some real huge ups and downs, Charlton fans, over the last 6 years or so. But now with Johnny Jackson and Jason Ewell at the helm, Thomas Sandgaard coming in, everything looks far calmer, and they're talking positively. The owner's talking positively about putting the club back where it was in the Premier League in, 5 or so years' time. That's what Charlton fans want to hear.
Yeah. And it's impossible to divorce the two, isn't it, Chris? Sometimes you hear, oh, well, the players just go out on the pitch. They don't worry about what goes on in the boardroom. But when there is a maelstrom like there has been at the Valley, it's impossible to divorce the two.
Yeah, it is. It does play on the players' minds. And the fans get so upset, and that transforms onto the pitch. And maybe the performances, where the players are looking for help from the fans, sometimes the fans are more frustrated than probably some of the players and the people who are running the club. So they can turn on the players. And Charlton's had a bad start this season. They're starting to pick up now and get away from the problems at the back. And really, when you look at that squad they've got, they should be in the playoffs.
Absolutely, there's a lot of experience on the bench, and there are 400 fans that are just coming in behind us. That is dedication on a Friday night, live on the telly from London to come here. Great weekend out in Newcastle, don't get me wrong.
By the way, I think that swung a few of them 400.
I think the big market's going to be busy later, but that's great dedication, isn't it?
Oh, it is. As you say, 280 miles just to come up here and support the side on a cold, chilly night. Dedication, but, you know, they'll support the team as long as the team go out and give them the performance that they deserve after travelling so far. But as you say, if a few of them are boxing it clever, they'll be staying up and having a good night out in Newcastle.
Absolutely, quite right too. Well, coming up, we're going to hear from Mike Williamson and Louis Story, who are leading Gateshead's promotion push in the National League North. They're juggling their jobs as manager and coach with defensive duties as the club's centre-back pairing.
It's Northwest, the Northeast for a place in the next round. It's the Langstaff, just the start for Gateshead. Oh, mistake by Charlton. And easy as you like, Josh Hancock levels things up. Ward, let's fly and straight in. Mooney, great outcome for Altrincham. Langstaff has likely won it in added time. The Heat heading for round 2.
Gateshead left it late to book their place in the second round, beating Altrincham 3-2 in a replay with that 91st minute winner. Both Louis Story and Mike Williamson played a part in the winning goal, and they played a huge part in the club's recent success as player manager and player coach.
We're all ready to start whenever he's ready, so
Mike Williamson played European football with Newcastle.
Just missing the Champions League.
And cup nights are special for Tyneside at every level. On a wet Tuesday night in Altrincham, Gateshead created one of the upsets of the last round.
It was probably the best feeling I've had at the club since arriving in the summer. To get the winner in the final minute, it's a fantastic feeling. It was a sign of how far we've come, but also what's possible.
It was a typical FA Cup tie. It was a real enjoyable one to be a part of, and glad that we got what we felt was deserved.
Behind Gateshead's success lies a dynamic rarely seen in the FA Cup second round. Player manager and player coach, together at the heart of the club and in the centre of defence.
They're huge for the club. Obviously Mike's been here 4 years now, 3 as manager. Then Louis came in at the start of the season, so with them being on the pitch with you, it does kind of give you a bit of more of like a leadership.
Get the quality going, get the standard up.
It's come natural to me on the pitch in terms of over the years. My strengths are my communication, organisation. I've been unfortunate to work under some incredible managers, and you take little bits here and there. Having a foot in both camps does bring its challenges, and trying to see everything objectively. I don't really ever stop being a player or a manager at any moment.
It genuinely feels as if there's no real hierarchy once you step up into the training pitch, when you're walking around the training ground. Match days, everyone's in it together. I think one of the massive positives of being player coach or player manager is keeping in touch with what it's like to be a player, and they're going to make mistakes and that they're not robots.
Gateshead is owned by the fans, a world apart from their wealthy neighbours just 2 miles across the river. The two black and white teams stand side by side in a community where football is the talk of the town.
It's a way of life, the mentality of the area, which is taking pride in what it's got and who represents them.
Gateshead are often seen as the little brother in Newcastle. You see the amount of links between the two clubs, the amount of players that have represented both clubs, not least Mike Williamson. Newcastle United are a behemoth of a football club, but there will always be a place for Gateshead in the region. There will always be an enthusiasm for Gateshead.
Football takes you all over the country, but as soon as there's an opportunity and opening, I sat down with my wife and the kids, and everybody wanted to come back.
I probably didn't fully understand it until I came into the club of actually what an amazing place this is, and it's a real honour to be a part of. It's a prime example of the wider North East in terms of what football means to people.
In the FA Cup, North East fans have had a long wait, but Story knows what it means to be a Wembley winner. He lifted 2020's delayed FA Vars with Hebburn Town from just along the river.
It was just an unbelievable experience, playing them one-off games with huge weight and gravity on them. One of my best footballing memories, but I'm hoping that I can recreate something similar on Friday.
So we've just got to be a bit better with mentally managing them. Okay? Good.
The North East is united behind them. Gateshead, representing the time, believe this is their time.
There is that community feel, so I think there'll be fans from all local non-league clubs here in the North East that want to come along to see the game and to come and support Gateshead.
It's going to be a fantastic occasion. This will be one of the biggest games for a lot of the lads' career. We've got huge belief within, the football club and our changing room. If we play to the levels that we know we can do, that we can really go through and be in the hat for the next round.
Joe Payne with that report. And Graham, you played under Steve Bruce when he was player manager at Sheffield United. There's Mike Williamson warming up. What challenges does it bring? We've got player coach and player manager here at Gateshead.
Yeah, I mean, Mike and Louis have done fantastically well for Gateshead, but I always look at it as a player. You've still got to keep the respect of all the players. You can't just rock in and because you're the manager, you're automatically going to pick yourself. So are your standards high enough to, get yourself in that starting 11? Albeit whether you pick the side or not, you've got to keep the command of the respect of the dressing room for me.
So it's actually even harder then, arguably,
I think so, yeah. I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? Because you've got the weekly routine of watching games, picking teams, keeping yourself fit, making sure your performance levels are up to scratch as well. So, and you've also got the quiet criticism of the dressing room if you're not performing.
Yeah, absolutely. You played under Trevor Francis at Sheffield Wednesday, but had he pretty much stopped playing by then?
Yeah, I think Trevor had... the season before, he played quite a few games, come on as a sub a lot and had an involvement on a big run, and then Ron left and then Trevor got the job. And so Trevor then basically did hang him up. He played the odd game very rarely. The pressure they get is, when you're a player manager, you're thinking of the team as well. So you're not just thinking about your performance. All the other players who go out on a park are thinking, what have I got to do today? I know my role. But when you're a manager, you can't help think about what's going wrong, the system, this, and your head's spinning. So, for them to go out and deal with that is very, very difficult.
Yeah, there must be sort of thought bubbles going on all the time when they're attacking. Maybe obviously they're playing together at centre-back. They're thinking, how's our shape? Where are we doing? Where's the threat? What have we got to do? Have we got to make a sub?
Set pieces.
Yeah,
you look at the players, it's like you're marking him, on the sheet, and you're trying to remember everything, and then you've got to obviously play your role as a player, and it's very, very demanding.
Yeah, and Mike Williamson's seen it all. I mean, he's played under Tony Adams, Brendan Rodgers, Chris Hughton, Alan Pardew. Obviously played in Europe for Newcastle as well. I mean, he's you would imagine he's learnt an awful lot along the way. He should have learnt a lot along the way.
Yeah, he would have. He's had some great managers as well to learn from. Players he's played with, he will have learned from. So, yeah, and he looks a calm guy, He looks like he's got the respect of the players. Talks a lot of sense. I don't think he's one of them who throws the cups across the room. I think he talks to players, and I think they respect him a lot.
From Charlton's point of view, Johnny Jackson, since he came in as caretaker in October, has done a really good job, and the results have improved. They've beaten at the weekend, but the results have improved. Are you sitting there wondering what more he has to do to get this job, or do you understand the delay in naming a successor?
Yeah, I mean, it is difficult.
Nigel Adkins.
Yeah, I mean, we see it all the time, don't we, Mark? That, a new manager goes into a football club, instantly the results pick up. The energy levels rise amongst the team and what have you. So Chris made the point earlier on off air. Sometimes as an owner, you just sit tight and wait for that, period of success to waver a little bit and then make your judgment a little bit later down the line instead of making a knee-jerk decision. So I would love to see Johnny Jackson get the job. I'm sure the fans would as well, but he's got to keep his standards high. Do
you think sometimes there's a sort of an inflation of results which isn't that realistic then? Is that what it is with a new manager?
Yeah, and I think, Johnny's been here before, hasn't he? He held the fort for a while, before, and he's come in, and he's obviously held it again, and he's done a good job. But, as I say, if I was the chairman, I'd just say, look, there's no rush. We're doing all right. He's not knocking on the door. He's waiting and thinking, if I keep producing results, I'm going to get the job. But you can see why the chairman thinks this could easy. I mean, if you lose tonight, they'll say he's not going to get the job probably. So
we will see. Charlton, though, have lost just one game in 7 in the league since Johnny Jackson took over. He'll want more of that form in the Cup. They've had little to cheer about in the Cup since a quarter-final run in 2014. We'll hear his thoughts after this break. FA Cup continues here on ITV with more second-round action this weekend. We've a double-header on Sunday, starting with a tricky test for Plymouth Argyle, who travel to Rochdale. Coverage starts 11:30 on ITV and the ITV Hub, and that's followed at 4:30 on ITV4 by Salford City at home to Chesterfield, who are currently leading the National League. And we'll have the third-round draw from 6:45 on Monday. That's followed by the non-league clash between Boreham Wood and St Albans. So let's hear from the two men in charge tonight. Both Mike Williamson and Johnny Jackson have been speaking to Gabriel Clark.
Johnny, you've got to do what no team's done this season and win here.
Yeah, difficult place to come. They've obviously got a very, very good home record, something that we're quite aware of, and something that we're going to be up against, definitely.
You'll have scouted them. What struck you about the way they play? What do you expect?
I was really sort of surprised with how much they try and play, how much they try and build. I think that's becoming, even down in the leagues now, that's something that teams are looking to do. Mike's obviously got them playing that way. He's obviously part of it as well. So, yeah, really impressive how they try and build from the back and how they go about their business.
But you're in a good run of form. You put a strong team out tonight. 61 places between the clubs. You play to your level, you win, don't you?
I wish it was as simple as that, but we should do. You're right. You're absolutely right. If we turn up with the right attitude, which we will do, we'll approach it like we do every game, and we'll give the opposition every single respect. And I think if we do that, we should come away victors. Like you say, obviously we play at a higher level, but these games don't always work like that, do they?
Mike, the night's here, the atmosphere's building. How do you sum up the occasion for you and your team?
Exciting. It's an exciting occasion. I think obviously, the cameras, the TV, family and friends. Obviously, it's going to be an increase in our crowd, and the excitement's been building all week. So now we're just looking forward to getting on with it.
Charlton have been praising your footballing approach. Their scouts have seen that. Is it going to be as simple to play that way tonight? Will it be as easy to keep that approach?
We're going to do our best. We've got a way of playing. We've got a process that we stick to. We think is the most efficient and effective. So regardless of the opponents, we want to play a certain way. But we've got plans to kind of curtail different things, and it's just about the lads going out there and doing what they've been doing week in, week out.
Charlton have been in their own good run of form under Johnny Jackson. What's the challenge they pose, do you think?
An extremely good team. Very, very good players. Got a wealth of Premier League experience in the squad. They're a physical team, but also they can play good football. So, like I say, it's a massive challenge for us, but one we're relishing.
The third round of the Cup Awaits. What would that represent to Charlton?
It'd just be lovely, wouldn't it? Obviously, the big boys come in, the Premier League teams, the Championship teams. So, it'd be nice for us to go on a little cup run. It's been a while since we have. So, I think it's something that we'd really like.
Let's have a look at the team then that Johnny Jackson has picked for this evening. Stephen Henderson, very experienced goalkeeper, aged 33, second appearance of the season, both in the Cup. Jayden Stockley, the top scorer at number 9, and Connor Washington, the Northern Ireland striker. Those two to look out for. We'll talk to Graham about them in a second. And Elliot Lee is Robley's son. Great Newcastle player, of course, Robley, who played in the Cup final in 1998 and 99 for Newcastle. Stockley and Washington up front. Are we going back in time a little bit? A bit of a throwback?
Yeah, big man, little man, aren't we? But Jayden Stockley's a good size, good physical presence, excellent in the air. So they'll be looking to get the balls down to the fullbacks, get plenty of crosses in the box where he is at his most threatening. So Connor Washington, he'll look to work down the sides, move the centre halves around, get in the lines between the fullbacks and the centre halves and move them about. Very, very important for me that Stockley gets hold of the ball. Anybody will tell you, as midfield players, you play that ball into the front man. If he makes it stick, he brings people into the game, makes life so much easier for the rest of the side.
So Mike Williamson and Louis Story have been talking about them as player coach and player manager. As centre-backs, they know what's coming tonight.
Yeah, but they're quite experienced and they'll know exactly about these two. Connor Washington may cause problems. He loves running in behind, always on the move, so he is dangerous. And at this level, he is a threat, massive threat. As for Gateshead, it's different systems. It's 3 at the back, 3-5-2 against 4-3-3. So, the two full-backs for Gateshead are going to be spare. They're going to have time on the ball, and if they can use the ball well, they can cause a lot of problems.
It's never easy when your dad's a famous player, but Elliot Lee's had a really good career, hasn't he? He started at West Ham, has played at Luton, now he's at Charlton.
Yeah,
might be able to hear us if I say that any louder,
it's always difficult to always get compared, don't you, to your father and whatever. So, but he's done well. He's just knuckled down and got on with it.
Yep, he's enjoyed it. OK, that is the Charlton team. Elliot Lee then, there he is, who we're looking forward to playing tonight in front of Alan Shearer, who's here. Let's have a look at the Gateshead team. The Heat is their nickname. This is the Gateshead team. Greg Ollie, the captain with the most appearances. Adam Campbell has played for Newcastle. In fact, 7 of the 11 have a Newcastle connection. And Macaulay Langstaff is the top scorer there. As you say, Chris, looking at the formations, that'll be interesting, won't it, the comparisons?
It's capitalising on where you get space, and hopefully the two full-backs, especially tonight for Gateshead, are comfortable in possession and can cause problems for Charlton, where they might have to adjust if they haven't that much of a good possession. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Where, on the other hand, obviously Charlton will have an extra man at the back, and so it's going to be very tactical the first 15-20 minutes.
We were at the Solihull Moors game against Wigan, and what was really, really interesting is now that we're talking teams are non-league. They're non-league in name, but they're all full-time. There's no issue with fitness anymore. It's
Absolutely.
not like maybe, dare I say it, in your day, when you might, after an hour, they might tire.
Yeah, all those years ago, Mark.
All those years ago when there was a leather ball.
You'd expect you'd wear them down, wouldn't you, the non-league sides, and that last 20 minutes you tend to dominate them, but not now. These boys are all fit. They're, as you say, they're full-time. Fitness won't be an issue to them, and Gateshead have got an excellent home record, which counts for plenty tonight.
They've just got to get Macaulay Langstaff, their top scorer, into the positions from which he can score. This is the win at Altrincham, Chris, where they did that. And I suppose if there is any difference between the non-league and further up the pyramid, it's just the ability to create things for your goal scorers. That's the issue.
Well, yeah, obviously. And what you've got to look, Mark, is all these players have had a good upbringing. They've been to academies, they've played football at a good level. And so, you know, and they've all got, no disrespect, but they've all got that League One performance in them. So when they come to Charlton, if Charlton's a little bit below par, they've all got the ability to play at League One. Maybe they can't play it that's why they're not playing there. But on a one-off game, they are capable of playing against the League One side quite comfortably.
Yep, so the difference is the level of consistency, really, is it? Not necessarily the level of ability. OK, time will tell. We're heading towards kick-off. That is apparently Alan Shearer. Underneath there, it's Alan Shearer, and I hope he's going to enjoy his evening watching his great friend Rob Lee's son, Elliot. And we're watching Gateshead, currently in the 6th tier of English football, who've already played 6 matches to get this far, scoring 17 goals. Well, that means a tough prospect in score for visitors Charlton tonight, and the teams will be with us shortly. Chillier, and definitely not a night for Lycra. That is for sure. You know, sometimes, Graham, we used to say in the old days, if you're the non-league team, oh, stay in the game, stay in the game. They're better than that now, aren't they, to think about that? They can play on the front foot and play their game. Yeah, absolutely, far better than that, and Mike Williamson will get them out. They'll be, I would imagine they'll come out the traps, 100 mile an hour, take the game to Charlton. I think the first 15 minutes for Charlton is absolutely vital tonight. They've got to make sure they weather the storm, because as I said earlier, they're unbeaten here in 7 all season, isn't it, Chris? All season, yeah. All season. So they'll be full of confidence. There's no reason. They're the underdogs. No one expects them to win. They can go out, relax and play their game. But play their game, Chris. Don't be all by it and just think, well, if it's 0-0, we're doing well at half-time and all that sort of stuff.
Listen, you've earned the right to get you. Go and enjoy it. But, hey, you can win this game. Yeah. It's not about saying, we've had a great run, let's finish it. No, go out there, go and enjoy it, take responsibility. Hey, you've got as good a chance as anything. Hey, you're playing a League One side and you can play a League One performance, so don't worry about it. It's a little different, isn't it? Because we've got a running track around the pitch. It is a little bit of a different sensation, yeah, inevitably, isn't it? It makes the pitch look a lot bigger than probably what it is, doesn't it? It's, yeah. It's great condition. There's no excuses tonight for the surface. It's fantastic. Gates will be looking forward to it. Listen, they'll play their game, and I've got a sneaking feeling I think Gates will make nick it tonight. Oh, the local boy's talking it up, isn't he? Here we go. Well, I'll balance it up and I'll go for Charlton. I think Johnny Jackson's men will come through in the end. I think the quality will come through. But it's a great for Gateshead, this, isn't it? Because they are inevitably, I mean, St James's Park, we can almost see the lights. They really are dwarfed by Newcastle and Sunderland, aren't they? Yeah, they're in the middle, and unfortunately, the Gateshead is split between Sunderland and Newcastle. But, you know, South Shields have done well recently. The other teams around there, Blythe Spartans, are well known for their Grey Cup run many years ago. Gateshead don't really get the publicity they deserve. They've never really been in the lower leagues, always been in a good, respectable league, but they always talk about other sides around this area. Obviously, Newcastle and Sunderland take the headlines. Absolutely, and this is a night for Gateshead then to make it all about themselves and for us to not talk about all the other teams that we normally talk about when it comes
to North East football. So, at last I've seen a tinfoil FA Cup. I was worried. I hadn't seen one yet. I was beginning to get a little bit worried, but there it is, tinfoil FA Cup. We've got a big weekend of football for you when it comes to the FA Cup. On Sunday we'll be at Rochdale, who are playing Plymouth. That's live on ITV. And then later we've got Salford against Chesterfield. That's on ITV4 at 4:30, 11:30 for the game at Spotland. Monday night we're on air at 6:45 ITV4. We'll bring you the third round draw. And then after that it's Boreham Wood against St Albans City. Only 8 miles apart, those two. And Ian Allinson managed one and used to manage the other there and played against Chris all those years ago. Didn't he? Played against you in a very long and protracted League Cup semi-final, Ian Allinson.
It went on for about 3 weeks. Yeah, it went extra time and everything, didn't it? Yeah, an Arsenal one, yeah.
But those were the days. Those were the days if you're a younger viewer going, hang on, a League Cup semi-final replay? Yeah. That was absolutely extraordinary. But that's what was happening then. But tonight it's all about Gateshead. It's all about Charlton, who have fallen on relatively hard times, let's be honest with you. For years and years and years it was Alan Kirbishley and Charlton, and Charlton fans wanted a little bit more, then realised what a brilliant job Alan Kirbishley was doing.
Well, sometimes it only takes you to lose somebody to realise how well he did for you as a manager. But as I said before, better times ahead for Charlton. Absolutely, should be better times ahead. And for Gateshead, here come the teams. It's a very, very special night for them here on the banks of the Tyne. And we've got Gateshead against Charlton Athletic live in the Cup for you in a couple of moments' time. Go then in the commentary box for us tonight. Jermaine Beckford is alongside Sam Matterface.
Good evening, Mark. Good evening, everybody. From the brink of extinction to the brink of the third round, nothing offers redemption quite like the FA Cup. Gateshead of the National League North was 72 hours from oblivion 2.5 years ago. Now they are 90 minutes away from rubbing shoulders with Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal and nearby Newcastle United. Charlton 22nd in League One when Johnny Jackson took over the club, and now even talking about promotion. A win tonight would be a 7th in 11 games in all competitions and a remarkable upturn in fortune. But his position is still that of a caretaker. Maybe a step into the third round would change that tonight. It is the first ever meeting between Gateshead in the black and white checkerboard shirts and Charlton Athletic in the red shirts and white shorts. The thread of FA Cup history is woven through this fascinating tie. But before we start, all 22 players and officials take the knee as they ask for racial equality and social justice. Jermaine Beckford, who scored a famous FA Cup goal at Old Trafford nearly 12 years ago and has been downing out on it ever since, is alongside me in the commentary box. 61 places separate these two teams in the football pyramid. How much of a test for Charlton will it be tonight?
Oh, it's going to be a big game tonight for Charlton, as well as alongside Gateshead. What I'm intrigued to see is how well Charlton start this game today, because you're coming up against a team in Gateshead who are coming off the back of a pretty good run as well.
And they're on the run now, coming forward at pace, looking to deliver a ball in towards Sedwin Scott, or Killen Scott, who was bursting through the centre. Langstaff, who's got a few goals this season, was the man leading the charge.
Yeah, you've got to say Purinton was a little bit lazy on his recovery runs there, and Langstaff should have done a little bit better with the final cross across the box. Tried to pick out the man in the middle of the field there, but this is the confidence that Gateshead have been playing with this season so far.
Fifth in the National League and eyeing up promotion. They are coming forward again, and another effort from range, which immediately just sends a little warning signal to Johnny Jackson and the Charlton team from Dan Ward.
Again, you have to say it's a little bit sloppy defending from Charlton today. We've only been playing a minute and a half, and we've already seen two pretty good half chances there for Gateshead, and this is something they really need to get a hold of, to be honest with you. Otherwise this could end up with Gateshead creeping ahead with a goal or two.
Well, their main ambition this season is a return to the National League. They've got 3 games in hand over the leaders AFC Fylde, and they're just 7 points behind. And they've been in terrific form in this stadium. They are unbeaten so far this campaign, and the only match that they failed to win was the one which they drew in the previous round. Offside flag is up over on the far side. Owen Bailey just slightly straying.
Do you know what I like already, what we've seen so far? Gateshead players are not afraid to make the run in behind the centre halves of Charlton today. We've seen Longstaff, we've seen Scott making a lovely little run. Bailey just there, tried to get on the shoulder of Claire, I think it was. And, you know, they're showing a lot of confidence and a lot of bravery as well.
Jayasimi attacking from right wing back and winning the first corner of the game, and it goes in Charlton's favour. He's another one who's been reintegrated under Johnny Jackson, came off the bench in the win over Doncaster and was absolutely superb. He was picked up from Swindon in the January transfer window. It's a deep delivery towards Stockley at the far post, and it was watched all the way by Louis Story.
Yeah, that was a lovely little set piece there, a lovely corner kick. They piled everybody in on the goalkeeper to see what Chapman's got in store, and you know what? Why not? Why not? We're right at the beginning of the game. We're 3.5 minutes into the first half, and you've got a corner. Put it right on the goalkeeper. See what he's about. See if he's got enough about him to get the bodies out of his way.
Chapman comes and punches clear. Gilby wins it back. Dobson. And now there's a late challenge on him, and it's going to result in a free kick to Charlton Athletic.
Yeah, you've got to say he's a little bit unlucky there. He just slightly mistimed the challenge, but every single one of these Gateshead players so far are on the front foot. They're not shy. They're not afraid to get in the faces of these Charlton players. They're not intimidating at all.
Elliot Lee with a delivery. Nudged away by the player manager, Mike Williamson of Gateshead, who could have gone to Wembley with Southampton or Portsmouth, but starred for neither. Once scored an own goal in a famous Newcastle defeat in the 3rd round of this competition against Stevenage. Played over 150 games for the St James's Park outfit. Slightly overhit from Elliot Lee.
Yeah, I remember playing against Williamson a few times, and you know, there's a couple of scars on the back of my Achilles that are down to him as well. So I have to thank him later on for that. See if he's still got the skin from his boots. I need it back.
Slightly different role for him now as the player manager, not as common as it once was.
Yeah, I think all of the experience that he brings with him as well. I think we said he's played over 150 odd games for Newcastle. You know, that speaks absolute volumes as well for the type of player and professional that he is. What I would like to see a little bit more as well tonight from Gateshead, because at the moment they've got the ball on the left-hand channel, they've got a throw-in, and the majority of the players on the far side of the field. You know, I want to see possibly Nicholson just come out here to the opposite touchline as soon as they've thrown the ball out and possibly gotten it back to whoever's throwing the ball. Hit a big diagonal, because there's bags and bags of space out here. Charlton are squeezing right the way over, trying to squeeze get rid of all the space, but it's not quite working just yet.
Burrington sent it to Sean Clare. He was looking for Jaden Stockley. He was out with a ban after getting sent off after just 20 minutes against Burton. He is the big man in the big man, little man combo. He is a player that plays on the edge. Washington trying to shut down the goalkeeper Chapman. He was born in Sydney, the goalkeeper for Gateshead. Slightly warmer there on a Friday night than it is in Gateshead. Kim Famewell. Purington. This is Dobson, who very much makes Charlton Athletic tick.
Yeah, I want to see him get on the ball a little bit more, Dobson, and just dictate play a little bit. At the moment, he's not really had much time to get hold of the game and dictate play, but as soon as he's got that opportunity to, I want to see him spraying those passes that we've come to know and see what he's capable of, see what he's got.
This is Robbie Tinkler. Stockley. Tinkler sending it all the way back to his goalkeeper. It's been a bright start.
It has. It's been a lovely start from Gateshead, especially. I like the way they're not afraid to get in the faces of all of the Charlton players all over the field. You can see them playing with bags and bags full of confidence. They trust each other, so they're moving the ball really quickly to each other. You can see the movement of off the ball as well, which is really good. But I want to see a little bit more from Bailey, from Ward, from Scott, from Campbell especially, just making that channel run in behind the fullbacks of Charlton and just ask questions of them. Ask questions. You can see the confidence they're playing with. So why not? Why not just put the ball in the channel, follow the ball into the channel and see if you could get a nice early crossing, like what we saw right at the beginning of the game.
Eliweri. Long ball looking for the run through the middle by Gilby. But here comes Ward for Gateshead. Charging into the box, being trapped by Jaisimi.
What a great battle that was. Really good battle. At 1 minute I thought he'd lost the ball, then he'd won it, then he lost it, then he won it. That's what I want to see. I want to see that shoulder-to-shoulder action. Neither one of them wants to give up. Both of them are really going for it. Great little battle. That could be something to look forward to during this game. I'm going to keep my eye out on that one.
Well, Johnny Jackson has named a strong team tonight. This is not a game that you want to lose live on TV. The eyes of the nation upon you. A potential upset on an Arctic night in the northeast. And he needs to keep winning if he is to force the owner's hand and secure the job long term. He hasn't done too badly so far. Jaisimi with a throw. Gilby gets it back again. That's a ball that travelled behind the Charlton attack. Allows Tinkler to escape. Gilby looking for the run of Washington, who's charging forward. Got 11 goals last season, Connor Washington. Hasn't scored in the FA Cup, though, since January 2016. Dobson penalised.
Yeah, I think you've got to say the first 11 minutes of this game so far have been in favour of Gateshead so far. You see the way they're playing with the ball. They trust each other in and out of possession. They've been working on it really hard, and they don't seem to let the occasion get the better of them in front of all of these fans today. It's a great little atmosphere, isn't it?
Well, Mike Williamson was saying that he believed his players would rise to the occasion tonight, and they play generally the 4-3-3 formation that you can see. They insist on the usual game plan, which is high energy, high pressing, counter pressing approach. The blueprint is not really to be a possession-based team, but they're not afraid to do that. They've given it away cheaply here. And this is Elliot Lee. Now Dobson. And Lee again. He's got support from Purington on the left-hand side. The delivery is straight into the arms of Chapman.
Yeah, you can see how well they play out from the back as well. They all know exactly where they're supposed to be, what they're supposed to be doing. As soon as the goalkeeper's got the ball, you see the two centre-halves, Story and Williamson, splitting either side of the 18-yard box. Really, really clever, but they do it so quickly. It's something that you can clearly see they've been working really hard on the training field.
He's held up well by Kedwin Scott, and he tries to bring Dan Ward into play there. Dobson, Purington. On the space for Jaisimi over on the far side. Good touch by him.
Yeah, lovely touch from him, but Tinkler was right in there straight away, straight on the first touch. Didn't give him an opportunity or a moment's rest to try and get the ball away from him. That's exactly what I'm talking about. They know, every single one of these Gateshead players know exactly where they're supposed to be at any given moment.
Here's Stockley, trying to work some space and get the shot away. Does that. First real shot in anger. Wasn't much anger behind it.
No, there wasn't. But again, that's exactly what Gateshead want. They want Charlton shooting from those sort of areas, you know, because more than likely the goalkeeper's going to be able to cover that. Chapman didn't look like he was worried about that shot at all. Great control on the chest there from Stockley.
Here's another one who's been in good goal-scoring form. 9 in his last 10 appearances. He was on the score sheet in the Papa John's Trophy in midweek when he took a penalty against Aston Villa's under-23s.
And you know what, coming off a game like that, even though it's against the Villa 23s, you still got a lot of confidence coming into this game because you know you can score.
Stafford's played the ball into Ward and he's trying to get in behind Dobson. Still trying to get away from him. And looking at the referee, Tom Reeves, and asking the question. He's certainly unsettled Dobson.
Well played there. It was brilliant. It's a great run initially, cut across Dobson's path. A lovely little Cruyff turn, to be fair to him as well. Managed to get the wrong side of Dobson, but I think Dobson was just a little bit too clever and a little bit too smart and strong there for him. It's exactly the kind of thing that I want to see a little bit more of. Just trusting your forward players, seeing if they can get in behind them.
Well, Dan Ward has only scored in the FA Cup this season. It seems to be the competition in which he comes alive. It certainly caused some problems for the Charlton backline there.
Look at the high press, that is brilliant. You've got 4 players from Gateshead squeezing all the way up. Really, really pressuring Henderson, putting him under immense pressure. And he had no choice but to put the ball out for a throw-in in the final third. Lovely little intricate play there. Cheeky little triangles around the defenders. Passing and moving, following the ball whenever you moved it.
Kedwin Scott trying to break in down the right-hand side. Comes back to Tinkler. Ward has made another decent run into the box. It's good control. Scott. Still Kedwin Scott. It's a decent effort, you know. And some of the crowd over on the far side thought it nestled in the corner. It hadn't. It rippled the side netting.
Oh, and you can't blame him either. What a lovely pass that was. Brilliant first touch. Lovely set, all in one movement. That was a lovely touch as well. A lovely little Cruyff turn onto his left foot. Caught it really, really nice. But he just misjudged the angle. Right into the side netting on the outside. You can hear how much that's galvanised these fans here. Getting right behind the team, and rightly so. Gateshead have been the best team, the better of the two teams by far today.
Well, they are a team that come up against quality in the National League North. There, teams like AFC Fylde and York City have got a lot of players that have plied their trade in the lower divisions of the Football League. Certainly Mike Williamson and his staff believe that they can cope with it.
And it definitely looks that way as well so far.
Stockley. Lee. Big night for Deji Elaweri, who is starting at the heart of the Charlton defence tonight. Only 18 years of age.
Yeah, and so far he's looked pretty good as well. He's looked pretty strong. His positional sense isn't bad either. You just hope that he keeps his concentration, otherwise this could end up being a long, long night for him. Especially with Longstaff and Campbell and Scott making those lovely little runs in behind the fullbacks in towards the middle of the field.
Torrington. Dobson. Elaweri. Penwo trying to find Connor Washington, and Williamson alert to danger. Lee. Torrington trying to get round the side of Macaulay Langstaff. Mix things up in the forward positions tonight, with Langstaff coming out to the right-hand side and Kedwin Scott going through the middle, just giving something for the Charlton backline to think about. And Lee trying to poke it forward to Purrington.
Do you know what I've noticed so far? The way the Gateshead defenders are all stepping up in a solid line as well.
Here's Washington. Purrington. And Stockley was coming in, and the goalkeeper had to be alert to the danger. And it was assertive goalkeeping from Jacob Chapman.
Yeah, I was just mentioning there the way that that Gateshead are defending.
Charlton with a bit of defending to do, and Stephen Henderson's come right to the perimeter of his penalty area. No VAR tonight, not in the Gateshead International Stadium.
That was a close one. It looked a close one from up here, didn't it?
Yeah, but we've got a running track between us and the edge of the 18-yard box, but it was very close, as you say. Just about kept it in, I think.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did.
Washington helping the ball out wide. Jayasimi looking to get it into the near post. Elliot Lee was lurking in, got a final touch, I think, off Story. And just in case you did hear any bad language creeping through our FX microphones at the Gateshead International Stadium, we do apologise for that. Another corner for Gateshead to defend. Elaweri up from the back. It's put it into the air by Nicholson. Offside flag is up over on the far side.
Yeah, you can see they tried something a little bit different there from the corner. On the first one, they put everybody on the goalkeeper. The second one, they set them all up just by the penalty spot, and you know, tried to get a little bit of a run on it, but it was a little bit lazy on the second phase there as well. You expect, as soon as the ball goes out wide, get everybody up, squeeze everybody up and out of the penalty box.
Jayasimi robbing the ball over on that far side and being a real nuisance, really. Nicholson, who's been deployed on the left-hand side tonight, and often plays on the right, is having to stick to his task very, very diligently. He's still trying to get out of the tight knot over on that far touchline and being backed up by Sean Clare. It's a real fight over on that left-hand side to get hold of the ball, and it's given straight back to George Dobson. Here's the live wire. And I think he's won another corner.
Yeah, that's much better from him. He's starting to get involved in the game just a little bit more. You can see Charlton are starting to realise that he's having a lot of joy out wide. So they're passing the ball to him a lot quicker, a lot easier, a lot earlier. And as soon as he takes his first touch, he knows he's going to be closed down really, really quickly. You see him take his first touch, and then he's like a quick 2 touches after that. He drops it to the left and then around the defender to try and squeeze himself a little bit of space. Really, really well done.
Halfway through the first half, Charlton racking up the corners, yet to really test Jacob Chapman in the goal. George Dobson. Wary. Dobson again. Gilby trying to force his way into the Gateshead penalty area. And Washington, it's an arcing cross and it's flicked into the air by Elliot Lee. Didn't cause too many problems for Jacob Chapman, but just made them think.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to see from Charlton. You want to see them driving at these Gateshead defenders and making them commit, make them make a decision inside the box as well.
What did you think? Possible?
No.
You'd have gone down for it.
100%. But in the game this season and the back end of last season, you've seen that referees and the linesmen are starting to allow a little bit more of that physical approach that we'd love to see. You know, we don't want to see the physical aspects of the game disappearing. So little bits and pieces like that, I don't mind.
Torrington. Clare trying to get it forward into Gilby, but Nicholson stops it from reaching Jayashimi. Found Greg Ollie, who is the captain, the club captain. Not sure that Gilby was going to get away with that. Greg Ollie, the club captain, he's been around for a long time. He, I'm sure, has some responsibilities on the field of play, but I reckon the manager still gets to call the shots from centre half.
I'm pretty certain. But you can see the discipline that Gateshead are playing with. As soon as they lose possession of the ball, they get a lot of players behind the ball very quickly. It's exactly what you want to see as well.
Torrington finding Washington. Lovely turn. Williamson out of the game. And Washington is still going until he's stopped by Owen Bailey. And the referee says that was absolutely fine.
Look, everybody knows what I feel about referees. Oh, that was a lovely bit of skill, by the way. Brilliant. He knew that Williamson was coming. For me, I think that's a foul there. I think that's a free kick. You know, he's slowed him down, taken a touch back towards him, and then pushed the ball past him, and then he's got a little clip, but I think that's a foul. That's a lovely touch.
Langstaff bursting into the Charlton box and picking out a pass. This is a big opportunity, and it's been spurned. What a chance that was as well. Adam Campbell, 7 yards from goal.
Oh, that was lovely. Look at that, great turn of pace there. Absolutely brilliant. Takes his time, takes a touch, puts a menacing ball right across the 6-yard box. great first touch, set himself, lined it up, went for the far top corner, which is the exact thing I would do, but unfortunately just overhit it, leaned back a little bit too far, just over the top of the bar. But that is exactly what I want to see here today, and this is where Gateshead are starting to find themselves with a little bit more of that confidence. Here we go again. Look at that great battle.
Kedwin Scott is charging through the centre, and Eliweri did get something.
Oh wow!
In his back, and I just wonder whether or not Kedwin Scott just felt the touch of the youngster.
I think Eliweri is very lucky there. Yeah, you can see Scott pulling his arm down just a little bit, but he's very cheeky with the way that he did it. He didn't think that the referee had seen him, but he definitely did. I think it's a foul. I think it's a foul.
By the Gateshead striker?
No, I'm in a strikers union.
He's locked his arm. I don't think he's going to get away with that.
I've got a couple of goals like that. But it's brilliant. Again, yet again, we're starting to see exactly how Gateshead have set themselves up today. Making that run in behind the centre halves and just gambling. The centre forwards are gambling on the run, gambling on the pass, and making sure that the pass is really well weighted. They trust the pace that these Gateshead forwards have got, especially Scott. Scott he seems like he's very sharp, very lively today.
It's a fascinating encounter, isn't it? Charlton have had some really good results from the minute that Johnny Jackson walked in the door. Sunderland away was a terrific win. Plymouth at home handing Ryan Lowe's side their first defeat in 16 games. He tapped into something. They had a little wobble against Shrewsbury last weekend, dropped points against Morecambe, but it's been a positive period for him in charge. But this is a real battle.
It is indeed, but I want to see a little bit more from Charlton because of the...
Here's Washington trying to escape, and he almost got round the goalkeeper. Momentary panic at the heart of the Gateshead defence.
I think a little bit more composure, and he's takes a touch around Chapman. He'll be able to slide that in to make it 1-0 to Charlton, but he's very unfortunate. Slipped as well, and Chapman managed to read it. Very unlucky, very unlucky. But I want to see a little bit more from Charlton. I want to see them moving the ball a little bit quicker. I want to see them spreading the play a little bit quicker as well. It's a bit too easy to defend against right now.
Dobson finds Jayashimi. Washington went for the flick on, comes back to Lee. Now, it's been a long time since he scored an FA Cup goal, Elliot Lee. He scored his only FA Cup goal 4 years ago today for Luton against Gateshead.
Look at that, that was a lovely cross again from Yayasemi. He managed to whip it in, and that's exactly what you need as a striker. You want your wingers to be putting crosses in like that, so you can gamble and try and get on the end of it. Oh, well played. That was really well done. Very unlucky there. He had no options.
Here's an option for Charlton Athletic. Stockley's peeled away into the centre. Washington still going. Looking for Stockley, and it's bundled in, and Charlton have the lead.
Oh, well played. Washington, absolutely brilliant there. Timed his run to perfection, absolute perfection. Managed to face up the defender. Took a lovely touch away from him, around him. Dinked the ball over the top of the goalkeeper, and listen, Jaden Stockley's not going to get an easier goal this season than that one. Really, really brilliant forward play there from Charlton. Timed his run excellently there. Look at that little touch in towards him, away from him. There you go. Just showed a little bit of bravery there. That was brilliant.
Well, it's his 10th goal in 11 games. He's in a rich vein of form, Jaden Stockley. He's a player that plays on the edge and is not afraid to put himself in the mix of a tough situation, and he was always going to be first to that ball, and he is first on the score sheet. Half an hour played, and Charlton have breached the Gateshead defence. Player manager and first team coach ending up in the net along with the ball and Jaden Stockley.
Yeah, he tried to get there in time, but he was just slightly off it, wasn't he? It's very unfortunate from a Gateshead perspective, but let's take nothing away from Charlton. The build-up play there was really, really well done, and they've actually used a little bit of what Gateshead have been doing to them to Gateshead themselves. You know, we see the perfectly timed run in behind the centre halves, and the pass was absolutely beautiful as well.
Well, Johnny Jackson wanted to go 2 up top the minute he took over. He decided to freshen things up, change the way that Charlton had been approaching things under Nigel Adkins. Returned to a winning formula. Changed the formation, brought back different personnel. Tried to change the approach of the team, and it paid off. And one of those big facets he wanted was 2 up top. And Washington and Stockley have been good for one another.
Yeah, sometimes that's what you've got to do, just go back to basics. It's a little bit old school, isn't it, the 4-4-2, but, you know, when you're getting the results and when you're seeing the confidence of the players as well, as I say that, Stockley's just going down, he's on his knees on the floor.
And the game stopped as a result of that, just down to your picture towards the halfway line. There he is on his haunches, just getting a bit of help from the referee, who's now calling the attention of the physios to come and deal with Jayden Stockley.
No idea what's happened to him there. I think he's it looks like he's hurt his hip.
Well, this isn't the only football we've got for you live on ITV over the course of the weekend. It's tomorrow, Salford City and Chesterfield are on ITV4 and the ITV Hub from 4:30. More FA Cup football Sunday, 11:30. And that's confirmation of that game on Sunday afternoon, 4:30, Salford against Chesterfield. And then it's Boreham Wood against St Albans on Monday night, including the 3rd round draw, 6:45 ITV4. Although the Boreham Wood manager, Luke Garrett, said to me today he wouldn't be watching the 3rd round draw, which takes place before kick-off in that match, just in case. He said, if we get Manchester United away, I think I'll find out pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to have eyes and ears on that one.
Ward up for the fight.
Well, I think he was unfortunate there. I thought he may have got a little touch on the ball, but I think where he let himself down a little bit, he just pulled the shirt.
It's a good ball out to Purrington. Blocked by Robbie Tinkler. He's back up and moving again, Jayden Stockley, which is good news for Charlton Athletic.
It was a lovely diagonal ball. Great first touch as well there from Purrington. But I wanted to see him whip the ball across the edge of the 6-yard box as soon as he's taken that very first touch. What he's done, he's taken a touch and slowed it down a little bit, which
Dobson
kind of ruined the momentum a bit.
This is Elliot Lee with a bit of time and space, and through the legs of Stockley and making sure that Jacob Chapman was alert. And you mentioned Purrington, he's not really an attacking fullback, he's more of a defensive-minded fullback, but he's done very well recently in the last few matches, getting up and down on that left-hand side. He's scored a couple of goals and he's created a few chances as well. Doesn't come necessarily naturally to him, but he's worked on it and it's started to bear fruit.
It has indeed, and he's looking really, really confident up there as well. So I just want to see him take his game to the next level, and by doing that, all he needs to do is just think that little bit sharper in the attacking mode. You know, as soon as the ball comes to him, take a touch and then do the movement, whatever it is, whether it's a lovely menacing cross or if it's a cheeky little cutback pass. But see if he could do it in 2 touches rather than the 3 touches.
Ollie trying to cause problems for Akim Fenwo. It's been a long FA Cup campaign already for Gateshead. It's their 7th FA Cup tie of the season. They've already seen off Bradford Park Avenue, Runcorn, Linnets, masked United. The highlight probably the replay win against Altrincham in the last round. And it has been an entertaining run as well. We thought there might be goals. 28 now have been witnessed in their 6 and a bit FA Cup ties so far. And they will be hoping that vibe continues.
Wow, that's not bad at all, is it? I wouldn't mind seeing a few of those here tonight as well.
Now, you've seen one.
I want to see more. I'm greedy. Once I've got a taste, I want a little bit more.
Tinkler.
Oh, lovely little forward play there. Cheeky little back heel. Tried to squeeze him in behind the defender there, but he was very unfortunate not to have gotten on the other side of him. But I like the way that Gateshead haven't given up. They're not giving up. They're not crumbling under any kind of pressure. They're still playing by their game plan.
Langstaff looking to try and open things up. His own player got in the way. Kedwin Scott, who got a real whack off Langstaff, who then got one back himself.
Oh, they're sore as well, especially when you're not expecting it. He got a little shot in there. Fortunately, he was still onside. That one there, boom, right in the midriff. Takes the wind out of you in an instant as well. But you know, he's back up on his feet, sucking the oxygen in. He'll be all right.
He's a hardy soul. He's from Stockton-on-Tees.
What are you saying? He didn't feel it.
Tinkler has almost given the ball away to Ben Purington. Might fall for Ward. It does fall for Macaulay Langstaff. Kedwin Scott lurking with intent in the middle.
Yeah, I like the way, as soon as the ball goes forward towards any of the forward players, Longstaff, Scott, Campbell, any of those boys, you see 3 or 4 of the remaining players, the midfielders, squeezing up and getting into the box as quickly as they can. They need to start maximising these moments, though, these opportunities. As soon as they get the ball up there, try and get across in the box, put Charlton under pressure. See how well they do defending crosses into the box, but don't just hoof them up there. Whip them in, put a little bit of pace on them, a little bit of direction in between the 6-yard box and the penalty spot.
Well, upsets aren't something that happen to Charlton very often. Only once in 22 games against non-league opposition in the Cup have they been beaten. But they're under the cosh here a little bit. An opportunity which is almost squirted by into the path of Langstaff. Didn't quite work out.
Yeah, it was a brilliant pass, crossfield pass. Ollie took a great touch on his chest, right into his path, and just needed to show a little bit more composure. It was the right idea, but the wrong execution. Slide the ball if you can, get your body over the ball, put it across the 6-yard box and cause problems, because there were 2 other players squeezing up in the box as well. They were in really good positions. They'll be frustrated with that one.
Washington up with Story. Dobson keeping it moving. Bit of head tennis going on. Ollie. All right, it's a long trip for the Charlton fans. 560-mile round trip. Long journey for the players as well, who stayed up last night and will go back tomorrow. Johnny Jackson making sure the temptation was removed from his players to head into Newcastle and immerse themselves in the big market. They're staying 8 miles out of town. The Charlton fans certainly be straight over the bridge, I think. Here's Campbell. Good chance. Comes back to Campbell again. What an opportunity for Adam Campbell to get Gateshead level.
Oh, that is a humongous opportunity. You have to look at that brilliant forward play there. Picks the ball up really well, turns the defender left and right. He manages to take his time. Lovely first save. Lovely save with his left hand there from Henderson. But then when the ball comes back out to him, you have to show a little bit more composure. It's come to his right foot, his strong right foot, and he's just put his laces through the ball on a half volley. just drags it wide. Oh, it's such a huge opportunity, but that's exactly what we need to see a little bit more from Gateshead.
Well, Kedwin Scott is now trying to cause problems. He might come to Campbell again. Now, was there a foul inside the 18-yard box? Clare collided with Kedwin Scott. The referee has stopped proceedings. A few of the Gateshead fans over on the far side were calling for a penalty. What did you think?
Initially, I thought he was offside. You have to look at this part here. That's where the pass comes in. He's offside. So if the referee decided to give it as a foul, as a free kick, you have to say that it was offside. There's nothing in it. There's no malice in there at all. Two players are watching the ball, just collided. Shoulder to shoulder, it looked like. It's a sore one, I'll be honest with you, but I don't think there's anything else other than that in there.
Well, they can't afford to lose another centre-back, Charlton. They've lost so many over the course of the season so far. Innes, Lavelle, Jason Pearce. Clare really is an emergency centre-back. Looks as if he's got enough treatment to be able to carry on. Kedwin Scott just going over towards the far side. And they've had some chances now, Jermaine, haven't they? And Johnny Jackson will be concerned about that. Kedwin Scott had an effort in the first few minutes of the game. Campbell's had two good chances now.
Yeah, they have indeed, and that's definitely something Johnny Jackson's going to have to go in at half-time and seriously have a word with his defenders about, you know, closing the gaps in behind the fullback. So when Purrington and Yarosemi decide to push on and lose the ball, it's about the reaction to that. So if it's on the left-hand side, you want to see Yarosemi squeeze down and then get inside, just as a right centre-half, which will give an opportunity for the rest of the defenders to squeeze across and make it a 4 at the back. It's exactly what we want to see, but...
Lee trying to crack one forward, blocked by Story. Both injured parties have recovered their faculties and are back with us. Jayasimi looking for Washington. Cut out by Story. And looking for a searching ball for Scott. Stockley. Purrington. Just a little nudge from Washington, which has yielded a free kick to the home team.
Yeah, I think he knew it as well. Tried to be cheeky, didn't he? Little shoulder in the back of Story, just to try and bop him off balance a little bit. But it's one of those ones where you know you're not going to get it. You're just trying to break up play a little bit, knowing there's only a minute or so before half-time. Try and break up the momentum that Gateshead are trying to build up.
Certainly Charlton haven't had it all their own way in the opening half of this FA Cup second round tie, the first of a huge menu of FA Cup ties over the weekend. And there's the man who calls the shots during the game, Ian Watson, nicknamed Busted, because apparently when he was a kid he looked like a member of the band. And it's stuck ever since.
You look like you could have been in Busted.
Apparently he's rather vocal on the bench, is Ian Watson, and he is the assistant manager with the first team coach and the player manager at centre-half positions. He sees things that are not necessarily visible to those two. And Williamson now up and attacking this free kick, which may well be the last opportunity of the first half for Gateshead to cultivate a chance.
Yeah, you want to see him miss the first man as well.
Gregor's delivery, punch away by Henderson. It's come back to Campbell, whose shot goes straight back into the arms of Henderson. It's a third decent chance for Adam Campbell. And now Charlton looking to overload them at the other end. Jayasimi's ball was deflected, and they didn't really make the most of it.
No, they didn't. But that's the problem with overloading and committing so many players forward, trying to get that equalising goal. You leave yourself open to a counter-attack, and that's exactly what happened there from Charlton. But the pass out to Yarosemi wasn't quite as firm as you would have hoped, and it kind of put a little bit of a halt to the way they were building up that counter-attack there.
Last of the 2 added minutes at the end of the first half. Charlton on the attack. Burrington coming in at the far post. He wins the header. Chapman just went a little wandering there. Lee, it's a delicate ball. He's a good technician, is Elliot Lee. And he's a fighter too. Story away. Jayasini. Lee once again. Gilby. It's good work by Gilby, and he thinks he's won a corner. Can't quite believe he hasn't.
Ooh, that was interesting. I thought there was a little touch there for the corner. Let's have a look from this angle. No, I think it does glance off Gilby's thigh there. So I think great call from the referee and his assistant.
There is the half-time whistle from the referee, and Charlton have only lost 2 out of the 10 matches since Johnny Jackson took over, and they were determined not to be a victim of an FA Cup curse tonight. They have started well enough thanks to the goal from Jaden Stockley, but they have not had it all their own way. Gateshead had a couple of great chances, Campbell with 2 in particular, which really troubled the Charlton back line. We'll hear from Chris Waddle and Graham Stewart in just a moment, but at the break, it is Gateshead 0, Charlton Athletic 1.
And Charlton of League One lead by goal to nil at the break, and it's their twin attack which has made the difference. Connor Washington setting it up for Jaden Stockley to head Charlton into a half-time lead, but Gateshead have had their opportunities. Might be a little bit frustrated, the non-league side, that they are behind at the break. You both said that the difference between the teams would be noticeable in the goal-scoring third, as it were. That was underlined, wasn't it, by the Charlton goal?
Yeah, very much so, Mark. I mean, there's been opportunities for both sides, especially in wide areas, and you're just looking for that moment of composure and quality, and that came from Charlton ultimately.
Washington does well to stay on side.
Washington it's a terrifically timed run. He gets down the left-hand side there, just sucks the defender in, shows great composure, taps it back. Stockley's eyes light up. Easiest chance he'll ever have all season. Charlton go 1-0 up.
Did well, didn't he, Washington, down the left there?
Yeah, he's good. He plays on the shoulder. He's always done it. He's got, his goal record's been good, especially in the lower leagues, and he knows how to play on that shoulder. He takes a gamble. He can be offside many times, but he'll do it again and again, and he always gets rewards for it.
Gateshead have had their opportunities, Chris, haven't they? And they've fallen to the man. Well, they're 2 men, Langstaff and Campbell. Both have fallen to Campbell. They'd be a bit frustrated not to have taken at least one of them.
Yeah, they've had some great... It's simple football as well. A couple of passes, get the ball in behind the back three. No pace in the back three of Charlton. And every time they've pushed that ball behind that back three, they've had joy and just that little bit of composure. Don't get excited. Yes, the crowd's roaring and they look a little bit nervous. For the first 15-20 minutes, Gateshead were. Now they've cut one down. Now they've relaxed and started to play. As you said, they've had 3 great chances.
It was a beautifully fashioned opening, that, wasn't it?
Well, I'm just wondering, was there a slight touch off the goalkeeper on the rebound chance there? Maybe there was, maybe there wasn't. But Chris is absolutely right. I think Johnny Jackson will be a little bit disappointed with his back three and the way they've marshalled their defence, or not marshalled it, more to the point. I mean, I don't think the communication's been very good. Any time Gateshead make any run, whether it be a diagonal run, straight one, they've caused Charlton no end of problems. That needs tightening up second half.
And what's interesting for me is they're actually playing 3 up against 3. They're not saying to the 2, play wide, stop the wing-backs coming out. They're saying, no, just play narrow against their 3. So it's very hard for the back 3 to get a good lane. They're all marking they've got somebody to mark, every one of them. So as soon as Gateshead then play 1 pass, 2 pass, somebody runs behind, they're in.
You'd be dropping it in every time second half, wouldn't you? Unless, of course, they change it about their Charlton.
You just look, a couple of passes, tell your strikers, spin. You've got the legs on them, you're going to get more opportunities. You don't need to play to feet.
It's interesting, isn't it? Adam Campbell, with that first opportunity, just his first touch wasn't quite good enough. So he had to take a second touch, by which stage he's blocked when the shot comes in. Just those minute differences between non-league and League One.
They are absolutely tiny little differences. I mean, there was potentially an opportunity if he absolutely breaks his neck when the guy's breaking down on the right-hand side. It potentially could have been there to tap it in, and he wouldn't need to have done what he did in the end. But, that's the instinct of a player. Can you get yourself in the box for a tap-in?
They're definitely still in this one, Gateshead, but they're a goal behind at half-time. Now, interestingly, in the FA Cup, at home, 10 of their 11 goals in the Cup this season have come in the second half. They need one in the second 45. It's on the way. One up here, and the other second round tie being played this evening. Rotherham, top of League One, taking on Stockport County, 8th in the National League. Rotherham 1 up at the break. Michael Smith scoring just before half-time. Ben Watson was with us at Solihull Moors for the first round replay. He scored in the FA Cup final, the winner for Wigan against Manchester City. Chris with us tonight has scored in the Cup final for Sheffield Wednesday. Graham has won the FA Cup. And I'm going to score in the Cup final in my next life. I think that's the way it's probably going to work. As we rejoin our commentary team for the second half. Lots to look forward to here with Jermaine Beckford and Sam Matterface.
Yeah, and Ben Watson isn't the only member of the Charlton Athletic squad that has been involved in an FA Cup final. Elliot Lee went to watch his dad in 98 and 99 playing the FA Cup final, and Pap Soiree was involved for Crystal Palace against Manchester United not so long ago. Played the whole match at Wembley on the losing side. Gateshead average around about 1,000, but tonight that has swollen somewhat, which is great news for the finances and good for the game as well. And in terms of the finances, it'll be great for Mike Williamson to be able to think about adding to his squad as the season progresses, as they look for promotion from the National League North, but also because they're going to be able to put a roof on the stand that we're in on the opposite side to those dugouts. There is the framework of a roof, but there is not a covering so far. So the Charlton fans that are alongside us in this particular part of the ground, if it does rain tonight, although they tell me there's not much chance of that, well, they will get a little bit wet. Now, the good news for all involved of a Gateshead persuasion is that the Heed, as they're usually known and locally known, usually flourish in the second half. They've scored 13 of their 17 FA Cup goals this season in the second half, Jermaine Beckford.
Well, that shows that they're a fit bunch of lads, and that's exactly what we want to see here today. Look at that, what a great start that is. Get Charlton on the back foot, lovely run into the channel there, and a beautiful pass in behind the Charlton back line to win a throw-in straight away after 10 seconds.
It's good work by Deji Eliweri to get ahead of Campbell, who has been a bit of a thorn in the Charlton side, especially in that first half. And they're coming forward again here. Step over by Ollie, and it's hit back, it comes back, and it's wide. What a chance.
What a brilliant setup for the second half already. Look at that, beautiful save, great strike, beautiful save, but you expect a little bit better than that.
Well,
from Langstaff, sorry. Oh, he's mishit it, he's let it hit the end of his foot by his toes rather than really getting his heel onto the ball and punching the ball in.
Atkinson's effort was well repelled by Stephen Henderson, but Macaulay Langstaff, who has 4 goals in 6 appearances in the FA Cup before today, this campaign, has had a golden chance to get Gateshead back on level terms, and they've had a number of opportunities now to pierce that Charlton back line. And it will be slightly frustrating for Johnny Jackson, but even more so for Mike Williamson.
Yeah, it will do. Johnny Jackson will be frustrated with the amount of opportunities and chances his side are giving away, but on the other side of it, Mike Williamson will be fuming with the amount of chances that his side are throwing away today as well. They found themselves in some excellent positions with a great opportunity to put themselves level, sometimes possibly even ahead, but they're not taking those opportunities, and if they don't start taking them soon enough, you know, they're going to find that this game is going to get away from them with another Charlton goal.
Well, they usually score goals. They've only failed to score in 2 of their previous 19 games this season.
Wow, see, that speaks volumes, that is, by itself.
Kedwin Scott chasing. Not going to reach it this time.
No, I think he started off his run initially offside, but, you know, it's the right idea. The idea is the correct one. Just needed to start back a little bit, like 2 or 3 yards closer to his own goal. Maybe the pass put a little bit less on there as well. but this is exactly the kind of start that I wanted to see from Gateshead today. I wanted to see them coming straight out of the blocks in the second half, the same way they started the first half, really.
Handball has been awarded against Owen Bailey.
That could have been handball from either one of those two players, to be honest.
Didn't say that. From a Newcastle trainee, Owen Bailey, he had a really bad ACL injury which kept him out for 18 months, and as a result of that he sort of saw his Newcastle career stutter to try and revive himself again at the heart of the Gateshead midfield.
That's a tricky injury to come back from as well. I've done my MCL a few times, and just knowing that you're going to be stuck in the fitness department in the physio room for 6, 7, 8 months, you've got to be mentally strong and mentally tough to be able to deal with that, and he seems to have come through it really well, and he moves really fluidly as well.
It's going to help defend the set piece, which Elliot Lee is going to construct. It's not the best of defensive headers, and it comes back for an effort. Gilby over on that far side.
Yeah, you'd have to say that's a little bit of a wasted opportunity there. He's got bags of time at the far post. I think he saw the glory there, Gilby. He needed to take a touch and then assess the situation, see what options he has, and I think the right option would have been to put the ball back in the danger area, inside the 18-yard box, and build from there.
Gateshead beat the press from Charlton. Charlton have it back again. Stockley chasing. Louis Story, who was leading the team talk at half-time, puts the ball out of play for another Charlton throw.
And do you know what? From the team talk as well, you have to say the boys respect him so much. Just watching the way they were all listening to him, and they were just focused on every word and hanging on every word that he was saying. You know, I think that speaks volumes about his standing in this team.
Yeah, he's a well-respected fella, and he's also Gateshead #2 goalkeeper.
I like that.
Just in case they haven't got a replacement, he was quite happy to step up.
Do you know what?
To do it yet, though.
I'm quite happy doing that. I don't think the managers will let me, though.
Dorrington trying to send the ball forward for Lee to chase.
Yeah, what I like so far is seeing Gateshead, as soon as they lose the ball goes towards any of the Charlton centre halves. They're squeezing right up the field. They're putting a lot of pressure on them as well. Making it very difficult for Charlton to get out.
Well, Mike Williamson was absolutely adamant that his team would come and play their game. They are an all-action team. They play on the front foot. They put as much pressure on as they possibly can. They're a full-time outfit. Even in National League North, they work off a budget of around about £300,000 a year. It's definitely not the biggest in the National League North. There's a lot more being spent than that.
He's done really well with that kind of budget.
That's Bailey trying to find Scott. Just couldn't get it under his control. And it's smuggled out over on the far side, and it's back with Charlton once again.
Yeah, what I like so far as well about this second half, as I mentioned before, Gateshead, every single one of the players are getting in the Charlton players' faces, but they're just playing with a level of confidence you don't normally see from an underdog, so to speak.
Gateshead just having to deal with the presence of Kedwin Scott, who's complaining to the assistant over on the far side, David Avent, that he was being held up illegally.
I'll tell you what I liked. I liked that defending there from Eloweri. Look at that. Lots of physicality there, under immense pressure. He's a little bit fortunate to get away with it. You can see clearly he's pulling the shirt, but for him to get in that position and not find himself being bullied by the centre forward, really confident play from the young man.
Only 18 years of age. Here is Jayasimi. It's an intelligent ball. Gilby. Can he pull it back to a red shirt? Connor Washington trying to make an angle for the shot. Stopped by Chapman.
Oh, that was lovely played there from the Charlton forwards. You've got to say you expect a little bit more from that, especially after that brilliant build-up play.
Jayasimi looking for Gilby once again. Another opportunity to cross. Maybe not enough on it, but it comes through anyway. And it's tucked home by Purington. There might have been a deflection on the way through, but Charlton celebrate. And they are finally showing that they are 61 places above Gateshead in the pyramid.
Oh, you've got to say that there was an element of fortune about it, it seemed. Lovely cross there. Caught a deflection. I think they're trying to complain that possibly Stockley was offside once the ball had been taken, once the ball had been kicked. And do you know what? There's an element of fortune about it as well, because if I'm honest, it does come off Jaden Stockley, and there's a possibility he was offside. I'm not entirely sure from this angle, but with there being no VAR, I think they're going to get away with it.
Well, it certainly came off Stockley, and as a number 9, I imagine that Jaden Stockley will be claiming that it is his goal, because it certainly diverted the ball away from Chapman. It seemed to be heading towards the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think it was a great finish. He's very fortunate, though.
Offside flag is up against the Gateshead forward, but is Stockley offside?
Right, so here he looks like he's onside. It's a great ball. Drifts offside after the touch, but that doesn't count. And I think it's tight. I think it's tight. I'm going to be in the strikers' union again and say he was onside. It was a really well-timed turn.
If we did have VAR, which we don't, and they were putting the lines on the pitch, it is arguable that they would be touching, and therefore the advantage would be given to the striker. And we have given the goal to Ben Purington, but we'll see what happens once the dubious goals panel get hold of it.
Yeah, I think that's going to have Stockley's name written all over it, to be honest with you. But you can see the confidence in these Charlton players now.
Just had a little bit more of a bit between their teeth in the second half, haven't they, going forward?
They have indeed, and it looks like the tide has turned, and they're trusting each other a lot more now. You can see the gaps and the spaces that they're all playing within, leaving each other with a lot of time to pass the ball to each other and not take over each other's space either. That's a big part of it. This is what I feel Gateshead need to do a little bit more. Look at the numbers that they've got going forward. It's a lovely crossfield pass, a bit too straight, but you know, when they pick the ball up in the centre midfield areas or just in front of the defenders, they're committing so many players forward. There are 3, 4, 5 players going forward, and that's the kind of way that you expect the Gateshead to get back into this game. But they also have to be cautious that when they do lose the ball, that they find themselves not out of possession. They have to find themselves in the right place at the right time to be able to defend when need be.
Well, that's what going for it now. 2-0 down in the cup tie. There is only one way out of it. The Gateshead FA Cup ties already this season have seen quite a lot of late drama. Is there more to come? Johnny Jackson will be hoping that it's not the case.
He was a bit fortunate there, I feel.
Just a little bit. That's not fortunate at all, and it's been given away to Jayasimi. Stockley. Header away by Williamson, comes towards Gilby, who's penalised. Gateshead very quickly want to get on with it. It's a deep ball out to Campbell. His chances in the first half, certainly now, will be the ones that Mike Williamson and his staff look back on at the end of this game as chances that they could have taken. Nicholson just stalling slightly, and Jayasimi was quickest to it. And he is penalised for the foul on the Charlton winger.
Yeah, he's ever so slightly caught his knee there, but it was lovely confidence from Chapman in the first place. As soon as he's caught the ball, he's tried to zing the ball out wide with a little sidewinder volley. I just don't think that the rest of the players were on the same page as him.
Well, he's seen a lot of the ball tonight, Jayasimi, and he has caused problems from the right-hand side where Charlton have been strong this season.
Yeah, I'll keep on popping the ball out to him as well. Leave him one-on-one with Nicholson and just let him have fun with him. Let him have fun up against him, because he seems to be having a lot of success up against him.
And Stockley, I think, maybe handled the ball as it came back towards him, and he has been penalised. Free kick to Gateshead.
There's the strength again.
Well, Gateshead are run by a fans group now. They've taken a 20% stake in the club. Local businessmen came along at just about the right time to rescue the club a couple of years ago when the previous owner ended up getting them demoted. And they saved it from oblivion, really. 72 hours to spare. No wonder that they've packed it out for tonight. And they are cherishing it no matter the result. When Mike Williamson took over 2.5 years ago, Jermaine, they had no staff, no players, no secretary, no kit man.
Wow, one-man stop. I'll tell you what, but I really like that. I really like the fact that the fans have got a stake in the club, because it shows that it's not just about a money-making scheme. This is about the club. This is about bringing the fans together and making them feel wanted and valued. You know, that's a big thing for a football club.
Certainly, Charlton Athletic have had their ownership issues as well. They had a Belgian owner who didn't have much affection for the club but paid the bills, then an investment company who could give them neither. And now they've got Thomas Sangard, a multi-million Dane who lives in Colorado most of the time, wielding a guitar and a snappy wardrobe. And since he's came in, it's very much changed the mood around the valley. He's done a load of great work in getting the fans on side again. Some good ticketing initiatives that have really helped fill out the seats at the Valley. There was a brilliant crowd for the recent game against Plymouth.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I like to hear that sort of stuff as well. Bring the fans back involved, get the fans back involved with the club. Make them let them understand, let them know that they're a valued part of any football club.
He's pretty good on the guitar, by the way. He played at the opening game of the season in the centre circle.
What did he play?
A very good tune. Langstaff. Williamson's clearance comes straight back to him.
So I feel this is exactly the way Charlton want the game to go now. I want them to, they must be thinking, let's slow it down, let's make it scrappy and scruffy. Don't give them any momentum, break up play, give away little free kicks, little fouls here and there, keep the ball in their half, keep it away from our goal. Was that Jason Yule I saw?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the assistant to Johnny Jackson. He played for Charlton over a couple of spells, also played for Southampton and Middlesbrough, Blackpool, Wimbledon. And reached the 5th round in 2001 when he was with Wimbledon. This is Elliot Lee, currently running the Charlton midfield and running it well. And looking for the run of Washington. He was felled before he could release the ball. That's going to be a free kick and a yellow card.
Well, that was brilliant from Lee. Picking the ball up and breaking the lines, running through, making defenders commit themselves. Look at that, 1, 2, 3. The third player just had enough and ended up taking him out. Taken out by Williamson.
Right. Construction opportunity for Charlton to try and conjure something. There is Elliot Lee standing over the ball. He's on loan from Luton Town. Very much loves Charlton Athletic after seeing his dad play there for so many years. The last FA Cup goal was against Gateshead. Might have an opportunity to get another one. There's a 5-man Gateshead wall. The referee now happy with the formulation of that. Get the sense that Lee fancies testing Jacob Chapman here. It's Lee, and it's just a yard over the top.
Yeah, it's not a bad free kick. Just needed to take a little bit more off it. He's tried to lift it up and over the wall and get it dipping down just in time to trouble the goalkeeper there. But Chapman had it covered, didn't he?
Just confirmation, the booking that the referee dished out was for Owen Bailey, who picked up a yellow card in that incident involving Elliot Lee. First booking of the night. Langstaff racing away again down that right-hand side and trying to cause trouble, but he's run out of room.
That was another lovely run from Langstaff there. Look at that. Manages to get himself the wrong side of the defender, but he manages to do really, really well to pick the ball up and win it off him.
Elliot Lee's night is done, and Albie Morgan is the man who comes on for Charlton, 21-year-old. Started in the EFL Trophy win over Villa in the week. Desperate to make an impression. Desperate to make an impression. About 18 months ago, during the lockdown, he lost 10 kilograms in order to catch the eye of the then manager.
Oh, that's some going, that is. Wow. It shows a lot of commitment to be able to shed that much weight as quickly as that as well. Hats off to him.
Nicholson. This is Campbell. Henderson clearing. Gilby. Morgan gets his first touch. This is Jobson.
We're starting to see Charlton taking charge of that centre midfield area now as well. Popping the ball about left to right, right to left. Very unlucky not to have found him in that channel there.
Just got a grip of the game in the second half, haven't they? Charlton, their quality has started to show. And they are a team that started the season with promotion ambitions. Those might have been a little bit checked in the last few months, but Last Saturday's defeat to Shrewsbury was the first time they've lost in a while. Getting to the playoffs is still a possibility. Change for Gateshead. Campbell is off. And Paul Blackett comes on. He's been limited to a handful of appearances because of niggling injuries all season, Paul Blackett. But he'll come and play up front now. And the other change confirmation that Luke Williams is on after the substitution of Dan Ward. And Williams knows what it's like to be knocked out of the FA Cup by Charlton. He was once dispatched from this competition by them when he was at Scunthorpe in November 2016. Attacking midfielder. And a signal that Ian Watson on the bench for Gateshead tonight is just trying to inject a little bit more attacking thrust about Gateshead after, as we were saying, Charlton started to wrestle control of the match.
Yeah, I feel they need to really get a hold of this game now and continue doing the simple things well, putting these Charlton defenders under pressure like this.
That's a great ball. And off goes Macaulay Langstaff with a big chance and a big miss. Oh, and he saw his name up in lights. Gateshead's goal getter has missed a huge opportunity to level.
Oh, look at that. That was an excellent pass, beautifully weighted as well. And you've got to say, Langstaff, he's got to get that on target, hit the target. There's a little bubble in front of him, which is unfortunate, which maybe made him take his eye off the ball a little bit, but oh, you expect him to test the goalkeeper in that instance. Massive, massive opportunity wasted.
Well, they've had, what, 10 chances now that they've created, 10 shots on the Charlton goal. Only 3 of them have been on target so far.
And you've got to say, those opportunities, those chances they've had as well, they should at least have 4 or 5 goals, because they were great opportunities, weren't they? Gone to waste. Really, really sad to see.
Is that the difference between the National League North and the middle of League One?
I definitely think so. The composure, just having that composure in front of goal. You know, anybody can find themselves in front of goal at any given moment, as long as you do the simple things well. But I think the difference between the two leagues are just having that composure and taking your time and having that half a moment's breath to take your time in front of goal and hit the target.
Gilby. Langstaff leaves it for Blackett, who's challenged by Dobson.
Gateshead have been really, really good in front of goal today. Campbell, Langstaff, Scott as well. You've got to say they've been really, really good. Found themselves in strong positions.
Durrington with a cross, which is not going to reach either Stockley or Washington.
Yeah, sorry, just found themselves in great positions, but it's the final pass or that final shot just goes to waste.
Charlton's making more alterations. Foul by Washington. I think it was a handball, actually. Blackett. Just running out of room and almost running into a photographer's lens.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to see there from Blackett. He's just come on and he's running in behind Elawere.
That's the end of the night for Yalang Jayashimi. He had a very effective first half in that right wing position. Connor Washington, I think, is coming off as well.
Yeah, Jayashimi has had a very good game today. Every time he's picked the ball up, he's looked like a problem, caused issues.
And the two players coming on, Josh Davison, who's scored in each of his last 3 FA Cup appearances, including in the first round against Havant and Waterlooville, who were brushed aside pretty easily by Charlton. And Jonathan Lico. And we've had a conversation with him today. It's definitely Jonathan Lico, despite the fact that everyone calls him Jonathan Lecco.
I'm guilty of that as well. It's definitely Lico. I'll apologise to him next time I see him.
And here he is on the ball. Gilby. They're cleared away by Story and straight out of play. And once again, we do apologise if you've picked up any bad language from the crowd here. FX mics are quite close to the Charlton fans and the Gateshead fans that are dotted around this stadium, the international stadium in Gateshead, which has hosted so many iconic events.
Lovely tackle there from Tinkler. Just timed it to perfection.
He was brought into the side tonight, Tinkler, just to add a little bit of nous and defensive stoutness. Charlton so effective down the wings and showing that again. Maybe just a little bit too aggressive from Purrington on that particular occasion.
Again, it's lovely play down the channel. Hand around the neck a little bit. Definitely a foul.
15 minutes to go. Charlton bossing the game. Lico on loan from Birmingham. Gilby floating one out towards Purrington. Claire immediately closed down by Scott. Blackett full of running.
Elawere has done really, really well today. He's been under a lot of pressure, physical pressure, runs in behind him.
Lico trying to cause more problems for the Gateshead backline, twisting, turning, and then almost twisting himself into a knot.
Oh, you've got to feel for him here. Lico sets himself, lines himself up, goes down the channel, chops the ball back really, really well. Chops him again, sends him on a tour of Gateshead, and unbelievably he slips at the vital moment. Look at that, 2 brilliant chops there, and there you go, his studs just go, the feet go from underneath him. So unlucky.
He's an incredibly talented player, and he's on the ball again. Decent looking delivery, and that's not a great clearance, and Edwin Scott has to try and get it further up the pitch, and Blackett can't hold on to it. Just get the feeling now that maybe Gateshead just tiring just a little. Torrington. Dobson trying to float one towards the far post. Blackett trying to outpace Elawere.
That's been a great battle today, those two.
He only signed a professional contract at the beginning of November, Deji Elawere.
Wow. You could see, clearly you could see why. He's shown a lot of composure on the ball.
It's great for him at his age, isn't it, to have a battle like that?
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. It's going to be physical. It's going to be one of the more physical battles he has this season. And, you know, for him to have been able to have come through it as well as he has done so far, just speaks volume for himself as a young man, his mentality, but also for Johnny Jackson as well.
Good feed again. Opens up his body and fires well wide.
Here's Lico again, lovely little step over move. Cuts it onto his left foot outside the 18-yard box from the angle, from the corner. And he's very unlucky not to have wrapped his foot right the way around it. He might have just caught it a bit too flush, a bit too cleanly with his laces and sent it high and wide.
Yeah, I think he found the long jump pit. Yeah, it is also the home of the Gateshead Harriers Athletics Club. Purrington's just gone for a high jump. Also the home of Gateshead Storm Rugby Club. It's hosted Olympians in the past, Seb Coe, Paula Radcliffe, Chris Akabusi. You saw pictures of Linford Christie and Carl Lewis, championed by Brendan Foster. A couple of your favourites have played here as well, Tina Turner.
Oh, go on then, how'd you know that? Did you see me at the concert? Were you at the same one?
The Police were here in 1982, it's a bit before your time.
It was a year before my time.
And Guns N' Roses rocked this stadium at their height in 1992.
Rock and roll. I like that. I like that. Who was opening for him?
Soundgarden.
Nice. That was a test and you passed it with flying colours.
Story. Well, if you're wondering what the noise is inside the stadium, there is a transgressor who's broken into the stadium and is now being chased around off camera by a couple of stewards. And he was on one of the hills, which is in between two of the stands here, and he slipped down it. And as a result of that, there was a huge cheer from a number of supporters in his direct vicinity. Meanwhile, there's a bit of a problem here for Macaulay Langstaff, which is a bit of an issue for Mike Williamson, because the last thing he'll want is to lose him to injury. He's run himself into the ground tonight. Does look as if he's coming off, and he's going to be replaced for the final few minutes by Connor Panny. 18 years of age, who's been promoted from the academy. It wasn't too long ago he was studying for a BTEC in sports coaching at Gateshead College. And he's about to come on to replace Macaulay Langstaff, who I think will be thinking about that big chance that he had in the second half for quite some while. Another change for Charlton as well, incoming. And there is Papsoire, an FA Cup finalist with Crystal Palace. Joined in September 2016, he was in the Crystal Palace team. There's confirmation of the Gateshead change. Langstaff, I think, having a bit of a hamstring trouble. And it's Ben Purrington who has gone off for Papsoire. Interesting story about Papsoire was that he once had to be airlifted from a traffic accident on the M4. And he had serious injuries. He was out of the game for around about 18 months as a result of that. Sort of curtailed his career. He started to rebuild it again. And it was a horrible accident that he found himself in. It's good to see him up and playing professional football on a regular basis again.
Yeah, I remember that. That was it was a shocking moment as well. Just glad he was okay in the end.
It's a good ball for Blackett to chase, but Henderson was smartly off his line and read the danger and gone out very quickly.
That was excellent from Henderson there. He noted, he spotted the danger, sprinted out, committed himself, spread himself out, got the ball, won it really, really well. Ultimately, you know you're going to be in for a tough night when the striker's closing in on you at pace, as you are there. They show great strength, great commitment as well.
Now Henderson just being checked to make sure he's okay. Also wastes a few precious seconds. And trust me, that is Alan Shearer, wearing his mask and his hat. And sitting and watching Gateshead tonight, he's keeping an eye on a family friend in Elliot Lee, who's since departed the scene. But Alan played in the cup final with Elliot's dad in '98 and in '99.
What players they were as well, by the way.
Yeah, and they formed a good friendship, I think, at the time, and they've kept that going. And the kids very much sort of grown up together. Elliot and Ollie, and both of them playing professional football. I think he would have been a little bit happier had he stayed on for 90 minutes tonight.
Yeah,
he's smiling inside, I think.
I've always enjoyed being substituted off as well, so I feel his pain.
It's been 11 matches now that Johnny Jackson has been in charge, and he's yet to be given the job on a permanent basis. Negotiations, I think, have started and are ongoing. It's a long time, isn't it? 11 games as a caretaker.
It is, yeah.
They are a club that feel as if and believe as if they can be operating at a higher level than which they currently are at in the middle of League One. They spent 7 seasons under Alan Kirbishley in the Premier League in the early 2000s. And you can understand why the new owner believes that there is potential there.
You would like to think after 11 games you're doing something right or wrong, so maybe it'll be an opportunity, a moment, the right time to either say yes, the role is yours, or no, it's not for you.
Well, certainly between the two of them, the new owner and Johnny Jackson, they've seemed to have really lit the fires of expectation again at the Valley. Jack Hunter is about to come on. Another former Newcastle trainee. And he takes the place of Owen Bailey in the centre of midfield.
Oh, what a pass that is.
Blackett on the run. And Elliot certainly committed himself and may have committed quite a significant foul. It's just the yellow card for Elliot. Is that the right call?
Oh, that's a difficult one to call because it was a great pass. Look at that. Blackett showed excellent pace, and it looks like he slowed down right in front of the young man Elliot. Just a little bit, just enough to make contact.
Well, he's not denying a goal-scoring opportunity, is he? Because in that law, it has to be the next action that leads to a goal, and Clare was coming round the back as the covering defender, so a yellow card is probably the right call.
I think it was. I think he's very unfortunate. If he could have stayed on his feet, I think that would have been a much better opportunity, a much better option. However, it was a brilliant moment there for Blackett, and Elliot has got to be wary of situations like that growing up.
Well, Gateshead, as I mentioned earlier, have seen late goals and drama in their previous FA Cup ties this season. They conceded an equaliser with the final kick in the 5th minute of stoppage time in their previous round here. And they'd led 2-0 themselves going into the 83rd minute. Can they complete a rescue act? Ollie to the far post, and they've hit the crossbar, and that's a brilliant save from Henderson. For the second time, it's still a scramble, and eventually Charlton get it away. It's a double save from Henderson, and the crossbar was hit as well.
Oh, what an opportunity that was. Humongous from the free kick. I think Williamson managed to get the back of his head to the ball, hits the crossbar. The ball ricochets out.
Well, it's several chances all in one, isn't it?
It is indeed. Brilliant header, right back on target. What a save that was. He managed to get back up onto his feet. Henderson, bang, another save. Lovely, really, really well done. Williams was very unfortunate there against Davison. Managed to clear it off the line. Brilliant defending, but very unlucky there from Gateshead.
Williamson, Story and Jack Hunter probably having the best of the three opportunities that Gateshead carved out in a matter of seconds, all thwarted by Stephen Henderson and the frame of the goal. And that would have set up some finish here at the Gateshead International Stadium. Lico. Gilby. Lico again, shrugging aside the attentions of Hunter. Morgan went to shoot and was dispossessed by Louis Story.
Yeah, it was definitely the wrong option there. I think he should have put the ball out wide. Soiree was there, he was on.
Well, it is a first defeat of the season here at the International Stadium for Gateshead, should it finish like this. And John Jackson now winning 7 of his 11 matches in caretaker charge of the Addicts. They swatted aside Havant and Waterloo in round 1. And they are going to go through with a decent victory away at Gateshead, a team that are in form, in a stadium that can be a bit of a leveler sometimes. I mean, it's a great playing surface, but it's wide, it's open, the wind swirls around inside this huge bowl. Stockley. And we'll have 4 added minutes before victory is confirmed.
I think Gateshead have got to keep their heads up here. I think they've done really, really well today so far. I think they've not pulled away from their game plan at all. They've stuck to it. They've done the simple things well. They've managed to put the ball in the channels and get these Charlton defenders on the back foot as well.
Well, the biggest compliment you can play them is that you didn't really notice the golfing quality in terms of the league position.
Well, absolutely. You know, Gateshead still have managed to have those 10 opportunities on goal, and you know, that's nothing to be sniffed at. They've been very unfortunate with a good few of those as well. But when you're up against a team that are able to take those opportunities that you haven't been able to, you know, that's going to be the defining factor.
Well, I think they'll take heart from their performance tonight. They've got a big league game against York next week. Charlton have got Ipswich at home on Tuesday night. Mike Williamson very much talking about the fact that that York game was coming round the corner quickly. It is only a rare defeat for his team. And it does appear that the Strikers Union has come good again. Looks like Jayden Stockley has been awarded that second goal.
Yeah, just as I thought. He'll be on a hat-trick now. He'll be looking for the hat-trick goal.
Here he is, playing the ball against the arms of Louis Story.
He's trying all sorts now. The ball was rolling to him, flicked it up with his right foot, tried to volley it over the defender's head with his left foot. Full of confidence.
It's 13 goals for the season now for Jayden Stockley, which is a good return at this stage of the campaign. Gilby. Back from Davison. There's a bit of space out wide for Soiree. Looking fame one.
I think Charlton have done very well this second half. They turned the game into a boring one without too many chances. They slowed the tempo down a lot, not giving Gateshead anything to really build their confidence back up, but that's exactly the kind of thing you would want, having been a goal up at half-time and to have gotten that second goal as well. So really, really well-managed game there from Charlton in the end.
A dicey back pass for Chapman to deal with in the final minute of the game. Stockley sensing another opportunity. Now Gilby, who's grown into the game, has won a free kick, which will probably end up being the last kick of the night's action. And there won't be a free kick. That will be the end of the match. Instead, Charlton come north and march forth into round 3 of the FA Cup. The Johnny Jackson revival of the sleeping South London giant continues with a hard-fought victory over non-league Gateshead. Jaden Stockley with the goals that give Charlton their first away win in the FA Cup since February 2014. Disappointment for Mike Williamson and Gateshead, who I'm sure would have learnt a lot tonight. It won't make or break their season, but it would have helped at least fund it, and maybe some improvements to the stadium as well. No giant killing at the International Stadium in Gateshead. We will hear from Chris Swaddle and Graham Stewart in just a moment, but it's finished in victory for League One Charlton. 2 goals from Jaden Stockley have got them over the line, and it's finished here in the northeast. Gateshead 0, Charlton 2. We'll be back in a moment.
Charlton Athletic into round 3 here at Gateshead on this Friday night in the Cup. Jaden Stockley with both goals. A header in the first half, which he very much meant. And in the second half, one which he didn't, but he's claiming it. It's his goal. And that was enough for Charlton to go through to the 3rd round draw on Monday night. Here's the goal scorer with Gabriel Clark.
Jaden, well done. 2-0. Deserved or a bit tough on Gateshead?
Do you know what? They were brilliant. First half, they caused us a lot of problems. I think there's a pivotal moment when we scored the first goal. First goal in these ties are always so crucial. So fair play to them. They caused us they had a lot of pace in attack. The young lad at centre half, Deju, I thought he did brilliant. Stood up to the test really well. So we're all proud of him. But just thankful to get through.
You got the 2 goals. What did you know about the second?
Rightfully so. It just hit me and went in. But I was trying to look at the lines. I don't know if I was offside or not, but it just hit me in the side and went in. But there's no chance you're taking that one off me.
You're under a great run of form under Johnny.
Yeah.
Do the players hope there's a decision soon, one way or the other?
Yeah, they do. That's the decision. That's how we're feeling in the camp. We're all behind Johnny. We've loved him since he was a coach here, and he's taken the next step to manager, and he's got everyone behind him. We love him to bits and hope that he gets the job.
You're in the 3rd round. Who do you want? Pick a club.
Yeah, it'd be nice to go back to Bournemouth. Bournemouth away would be a nice one.
Well done.
Cheers, thank you very much.
Well, that makes a change to Manchester United at home, doesn't it, and Tottenham at home. Interestingly, you picked out the fact that they'd picked Stockley and Washington to play together through the middle, that it was effective, and it worked really well, particularly with the first goal.
Yeah, very much so. They combined well, didn't they, for the first goal. A fantastic run by Washington in the end. But we said big man, little man. Washington with his movement was good. Stockley does what he does best, which is score goals. Here we get the first goal here. Perfectly timed run by Connor Washington. Gets the ball, takes the defender on, calms himself down. That's the most important thing. Delivers the ball. And as I said in the first half analysis there, his eyes light up because You don't get many of them.
Calms himself down. That might be the difference between the two teams tonight, Chris, in the vital positions.
Yeah, I was just going to say that the difference between the two teams was when they got in good positions, they kept a calm head and picked the right decision. Unfortunately for Gateshead, they looked nervous, they panicked, they lashed at it instead of just passing it into the net. And they've had some glorious chances, and they could have won the tie. I've got to say, Charlton still controlled the game, but Gates has had some wonderful chances.
Now, we didn't know much about the second, Jayden, Stockley, and you will know that Stockley Park is a well-known place now. So the park named after him, the fact that we weren't using it tonight's come to his rescue because his right foot's probably offside.
He's off, isn't he?
I mean, Jayasir puts the ball in the box. It's not a particularly great ball. The defender flicks it on. Ben Purrington comes in at the far post there. Jayden Stockley doesn't know anything about it. Hits him on the chest, ball goes in, but as he says in his interview there, you're not taking that off a centre
Tough on
forward.
the assistant, actually, because it was right here, wasn't it, with a naked eye.
Yes, listen, without VAR, that's never... It's always going to be a goal, isn't it? But if you really analyse it, you can say he's just offside. But, you know, you can't blame the linesman for that. No.
They had the chances, Gateshead. They spurned them. It is Charlton who is into round 3. The draw is on Monday night, and about 400 fans away to our right made the long trip from London. Johnny Jackson salutes them, and the Charlton fans off into the famed Newcastle nightlife, enjoying themselves after that 2-0 win. Tonight's results then: Gateshead beaten here by Charlton, and in the other match, former Gateshead player Michael Smith with the winner as Rotherham beat Stockport by 1-0. Let's hear from the Charlton boss, Johnny Jackson, with Gabriel Clark.
Johnny, well done. First team to win here this season. Was it as comfortable as it might have been, or were you a little bit edgy at times?
It was an edgy game. It was a really tough fixture for us. They caused us a lot of problems, as we knew we would. They had great support. They're strong here, aren't they? And they've got a great record this season, so we knew they'd cause us problems. They've caused us more than I wanted, to be honest. They'll probably wonder how they haven't scored a goal on the night. So my goalies had to make some good saves right at the deft there, and yeah, I mean, credit to them. I was really, really impressed with them.
And a word on your 18-year-old centre-back, Gateshead. He was praised by Jayden for his performance tonight. Do you share that?
Absolutely, yeah. Deji's one that we got high hopes for. He's a grounded young man, but he's got bags of potential, and I saw this as a good opportunity to get him in the team, and I knew he wouldn't let me down. And I just said to him in there, they give you a tough evening because they keep you honest, and they've got some good movement up front, and he's had to defend really well, and he's done it.
And by the time the third round comes around, then do you hope to have got the job? Speaking to your captain, he said the players would like a decision and they'd like you to get the job.
Well, that's nice to hear. Yeah, I mean, as I keep saying, I've been in good discussions with the owner, and they're moving along nicely, and hopefully we can get something resolved really soon.
Thank you. Another step tonight. Well done.
Thank you.
Third round draw Monday night. Let's have a look at those chances, Chris. Right at the start of the second half, in the first minute of the second half, Campbell had missed 2 in the first half. Langstaff in the second, right at the beginning.
Yeah, it's a decent effort on goal. He hits the target, that's all he can ask. I think the goalkeeper's made a little bit of a mess of it, I've got to say. He should push it away. He's pushed it right out in front of Lonta, and that is a terrible finish. I mean, you don't want to say that again. That is a start of the second half as well. That puts him straight back into the game. What an opportunity. And they caused them problems all night running in behind, and then this is another one. Maybe just lift it. Bit of quality there. He's rushed it again, snatched at it, high and wide.
And here, this is a great bit of goalkeeping. To be fair, this is Hunter with the header. That is a great reaction
save.
It's
a terrific save from Stevenson. It really is. Stephen Henderson. Fantastic save. Comes off the crossbar, but he reacts well to it. Instinctive save. Does really, really well to push it out.
In terms of quality and quantity of chances, Chris, Gateshead had more of them.
Yeah, I thought Charlton looked the more accomplished side. But when you look at the chances and you analyse the game, the manager of Gateshead will be thinking, how have we not scored 2 or 3 goals tonight?
Absolutely. We'll be here for another 100 years. This game will never change, will it, in terms of what it's all about?
I mean, you know, Gateshead are going to go to bed tonight, ruin the chances that they've missed, because this game could have been totally different. Charlton did control big chunks of the game, but goals change games, and Gateshead could have easily come out of here with a different result tonight.
Let's hear from their player-manager, probably a bit frustrated, Mike Williamson, with Gabriel.
Mike, is there a sense of a missed opportunity in that dressing room tonight?
Yeah, I think so. I think lads, very disappointed in there. But also said and done, I'm immensely proud. We didn't come away from our fundamentals and our process, and we kept going, and that's what we've come to see with these boys. The the kind of endeavour, the never give up attitude, but we just fell short.
Was it composure in the final third, in the final 10 yards at times?
You know, listen, I think the boys have been fantastic all season, and we've been scoring left, right and centre. So I felt as though, yeah, it was missed opportunities, but ultimately we fell short. But, you know, the boys, I think they were fantastic.
And what do you want to take from this now? Obviously, in the priority is the league, it's promotion into the National League. What do you hope to take from this cup run?
Well, ultimately, I said to the lads, you come in disappointed, feeling as though we should have got something out of the game against a massive club. That's got to give us enormous confidence to go on, and we've got a big game on Tuesday against York. So yeah, it's got to give us every confidence to keep pushing. But we know ultimately it's about us, so it just reinforces the process.
Good luck for the rest of the season. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chris, we've talked about the goal scoring, the taking of the goal scoring opportunities obviously is different, but other than that, that's tier 6 against tier 3. And there wasn't a lot in it until you got into the penalty area.
No, I think being full time helps. You know, the fitness, they didn't really drop off the pace, did they? They kept going and kept going. And I think that is a massive difference. You know, if they were part time, I think Charlton would have went on and maybe got in a couple of goals, I'll be honest. But it just shows you, if you train full time, they've got some big games coming up. It's a hard league to get out of. They want to get back to the National League. It's going to be very difficult for them.
Very quickly, Johnny Jackson, sooner rather than later?
Hopefully for Johnny, he's done great. You know, they'll look forward to the draw on Monday night and then back to business in the league.
Gents, thank you very much indeed. Been a really enjoyable evening here, and a reminder of the rest of the FA Cup coverage this weekend. A doubleheader on Sunday, 11:30 a.m. on ITV and ITV Hub. It's Rochdale against Plymouth. Then at 4:30 on ITV4, Salford City and Chesterfield. And we have the third round draw live from 6:45 on Monday, and that is followed by the non-league clash between Boreham Wood and St Albans. And of course, the third round draw means the big boys are in the hat. Hope you've enjoyed our evening here at Gateshead, and we'll do it all again on Sunday as the FA Cup continues on ITV. Bye-bye.